Making KRTV a part of your Wednesday. We begin at 5:30 in the courtroom. A Great Falls man will spend half a century in prison for sexually assaulting a child he was babysitting.
Jesse Michael Scott was sentenced to 60 years in the Montana State Prison with 10 years suspended. Scott pled guilty to one count of sexual assault in December. Scott faced multiple felony charges after assaulting a 6-year-old boy he was babysitting. Court documents say Scott touched the boy's genitals and bound him with duct tape while committing other indecent acts. A plea deal with the county attorney's office. Scott pled guilty to sexual assault and had those charges dismissed. Those charges were aggravated kidnapping and sexual assault on a minor. Scott was also designated as a Tier 2 sex offender and will not be eligible for parole until completion of sexual offender treatment. A Great Falls man also appeared in court this afternoon after allegedly sexually assaulting 2 underage girls over several years. Douglas Scott Stoker has been charged with 2 felonies after allegedly sexually assaulting 2 girls who are now both in their teens. Court documents state while police officers were interviewing Stoker, he reportedly said that his life was over. Police say Stoker then attempted to use a shirt to kill himself, but officers were able to stop him. Due to the nature of the crimes and the, quote, extreme risk he poses to others and himself, bail was set at $250,000.
Article 32 hearings have been set for 2 Malmstrom Air Force Base officers accused of illegal drug use. First Lieutenant Michael Alonzo's hearing will take place tomorrow. First Lieutenant Lance Baltazar's will be on May 19th. And Article 32 is similar to civilian grand jury hearings. It will determine if sufficient evidence exists that a crime has been committed for a court-martial to take place. Both officers' alleged violations include for illegal possession, use, and distribution of ecstasy, and for conspiracy related to the drug offenses. The charge sheets state that both officers traveled to California in late 2013 to acquire the drug to bring back to Montana. Baltazar has a few more violations, including distribution and possession of cocaine, also the use of pentadrone, commonly known as bath salts. These charges stem from the drug and cheating scandal that happened over a year ago.
Last night, the ballots for the Vaughn school elections were counted and results are in. Corey Eli led the way and received 152 votes, while Judd Brooks received 104. The terms for the trustee positions are 3 years, and Eli is already on the board. The two beat out Melissa Smirker, Kayla Ansenson, and Tracy Lewis, as well as Alan Whitmire. Brooks actually resigned from the board back in March after the school's principal, Dean Jardee, was ousted. The remaining year of his term is still open and will be decided at the next school board meeting. That's coming up on May 12th. There's still one open seat, and that will be filed by appointment only. There will be a special school board meeting for Vaughn held tomorrow night. This is where current board members will go over contracts, retirements, and other business. The new board will not be sworn in until the May 12th meeting.
The spring season gives Montanans many things to look forward to, including nice weather.
But sometimes the weather has a larger impact than simply meets the eye. As snow melts and spring showers begin, downtown Great Falls starts to see once again a combat against the problem of pooling water. With infrastructure increasing over the years, waterways and natural infiltration has become blocked and have now impacted the asphalt surfaces downtown. After so many years of deterioration to the surfaces, a new project has started to take shape to upgrade both the drainage system as well as the curbs, sidewalks, and road conditions.
But the project we're looking at, and it's partially designed, is to put in some additional storm drain inlets in some of those areas to get rid of that surface water that's ponding in the streets.
Tonight at 10, MTN Zach Green is on special assignment to take a look at the growing problem and how the city plans to fix it. Well, plumes of thick black smoke erupted from 6 derailed oil tankers around 7:30 this morning in a small North Dakota town. The 40-person town of Himdall, which is about 50 miles east of Minot, has been completely evacuated. No injuries or fatalities have been reported. The Federal Railroad Administration has deployed a 10-person team to the site that will conduct an investigation into the cause. Since January, the been at least 4 oil train derailments resulting in explosions in the U.S. and Canada. 2 of the trains were carrying Bakken crude, and North Dakota's governor says this train was also carrying Bakken oil. BNSF says the tank cars in the derailment are older, unjacketed CPC 1232 models. the same models that have been targeted for phase out within 5 years under federal safety rules announced last Friday. It's the first derailment since the state in April required companies to reduce the volatility of Bakken crude before it can be transported, raising questions about whether the new standard is sufficient.
Congress passed its annual budget resolution yesterday. Montana's Republican Congressman Ryan Zinke and Democratic Senator Jon Tester both voted against it. Zinke supports the resolution's call to repeal Obamacare and balance the budget in 10 years, but he opposed it because of language that could open the door to the sale of public lands. Republican Senator Steve Daines voted for the resolution. A Daines spokeswoman said the amendment doesn't sell any lands but safeguards the ability of Congress to make small, locally supported transfers. Senator Tester opposed it for several reasons, including its lack of highway funding.
We have folks here in Congress who eagerly swipe the nation's credit card when it comes to investments in the Middle East, but these same members of Congress won't even open up a wallet to fill a pothole next to a school.
The budget resolution charts a course for Congress to actually produce a budget. As for Montana's highways, you'll be able to drive a little faster on some of them starting in October. Governor Bullock this week signed a bill to increase some speed limits from 75 to 80 on the interstates. The Montana Department of Transportation will determine what areas should not have the faster speeds. The new limits will take effect October 1st. The basic fine for speeding will double from $20 to $40. Governor Bullock also signed 2 bills into law to preserve and promote tribal languages in Montana. Well, temperatures were cooler today in the wake of yesterday's cold front.
Let's get a check on the numbers with Storm Tracker meteorologist Mike Rollins.
Temperatures running about 10 to 20 degrees cooler depending on where you're at this hour across north central Montana. Right now in Great Falls, it's 13 degrees cooler compared to the same time yesterday, while in our eastern counties, Wolf Point is 26 degrees cooler compared to the same time. It is 58 right now in Wolf Point, 58 also in Glasgow. We've got 57 here in Great Falls. Across the state, we have everything from the 40s to the 50s to the 60s out there, and quite a few clouds still making their way across the Treasure State. But for the most part, the rain has ended. For now, there will be some rain and snow in parts of the state tonight. I'll show you where coming up. A chilly night ahead of us here in the Electric City. Some of you headed below the freezing mark, and I think we'll be right down to 32 here in Great Falls with a pretty brisk northeasterly wind. I'll show you just how cold it will get in your hometown and when we could see more rain in Storm Tracker weather.
Still to